Virgo, this is your horoscope for October 2016. Thank you for joining me. It's really nice to be with you today. On the 1st of October, we have a new moon in Libra. The new moon, I've made a separate video on this. Have a look at that video. The new moon is when the moon is totally black and it's pulling in new energy to start its new cycle. And this new moon is all about improving relationships with people. Now, in your case, Virgo, this happens in your second house of money. So the focus can be on financial relationships or the actual relationship you have with your money. So take 5 to 10 minutes and just focus on what you want to achieve in that sense during the month of October. And by the time the end of October rolls around, you'll really be pleasantly surprised with how much progress you've made in that side of your life. Now, on the 2nd, the moon keeps moving. It's still in Libra, and it starts to oppose Uranus and Aries. So there's going to be a sense of working as part of a team, working with other people where you really want to achieve and make a contribution. But then another side of you is going to say, well, what about my money and what am I getting out of all of this? So there's going to be a push and pull between the self versus them. And you really, there's no right or wrong here. I mean, as long as you're not embezzling money on the sides, for instance. But as long as you keep a fair approach, everyone who does a job, anyone who is employed, does that on, for a part to benefit the company. But also on the other side, they're doing that job so they can make a living and they can put dinner on the table. So that's going to be an interesting day for you personally to actually weigh up where your loyalties lie. So that's interesting for you to discover. On the 3rd and 4th, the moon continues and it goes into Scorpio now, and it joins Venus, the black moon Lilith, and your midheaven, all of which are in Scorpio in your 3rd house. So there's a real connection with the emotional side of things. Communication becomes very open and direct and really honest. I really think you will be open to look at difficult things in life, to even address secrets, to address things which haven't been apparent before. And you're going to be an open book here at the beginning of October. So if there's something that has to kind of follow you to the grave, then watch out for these 2 days, because you're going to be much more open about things that you usually keep hidden. By the way, secrets keep us sick. So if you do have something that you're trying to take with you to the grave, share that with someone. It's going to eat away at you if you're keeping it to yourself. Now, that's a great time to jump over your shadow and to resolve things that you may not want to talk about or that you're ashamed over that are unpleasant. 3rd and 4th of those days. Wow, that's a bit intense. Okay, 5th of October, we've got the moon now in Sagittarius, and it conjuncts Saturn in Sagittarius. And you focus on and question your family relationships and how those are going to progress. So you feel comfortable making plans, and it looks like the discussions you've had over the last couple of days have been successful and have led to something, because now you're looking at the future when it comes to your family relationships. On the 6th of October, Mars begins to conjunct Pluto, and this is significant because it stays in place until the 28th of October. So this is an energy that will be with you for pretty much the duration of the month. Mars is the personal planet of desire, what you want, what you're not going to compromise on. And Pluto is the planet of transformation and change. Both of them are in Capricorn, so the sign of the worker. And really, you become very focused on working at the kind of romance sector of your life. Okay, so if you're single, you will become very clear of what your actual position is and what you want that to be. So if you're single and you want to be single, fine. That's not going to involve a lot of work. But if you're single and you want to be with someone else, you will get very grounded and clear on this being a fact of your life, and then you will do what it takes and what's necessary to actually bring that about. So it's a great time to actually go on dates and to, it's one thing saying I'm going to go on a lot of dates and meet someone. It's another actually showing up and sitting at the dinner table and waiting for the other person to appear. 2 different stories altogether. So here in October, you're actually willing to do the things that you recognize as true. If you're in a relationship and you've worked at it for 3 years and it's not gone anywhere, you will recognize that for what it is, and you will be willing to do what it takes to get out of that situation, okay? So we're really practical, and I think you're starting to notice a theme here, Virgo. You really get real with yourself and you see things for what they are, and you those realizations have very specific consequences as far as you're concerned. On the 7th of October, the moon is still in Sag, and it's trining Uranus, which is in your 8th house of other people and career and institutions. So you will see your fate almost connected with your colleagues, what's going to happen in that sense, and also with your family. So people who are fixtures in your life, you're kind of reflective on what's going to happen with these relationships, what is it that I want, what is it that's happening beyond my control, and I think you start to see your relationships kind of more objectively and to see other people's agenda. Be careful that you don't go into, suspicious mode and that you're questioning other people's motives too much. Just kind of have a perceive what's going on and what direction certain relationships are going in. The moon is in Capricorn on the 8th. That starts to conjunct Mars. And this is in your 5th house. Oh, okay. So this is another day when you feel exceptionally confident and exceptionally comfortable at working on your love life. So, if you're really terrified to go on that blind date, pick the 8th of October. You'll be able to grin and bear it and to actually do what has to be done. You will be a brave little soldier and you will be able to do what you need to do. Okay. I can relate to this relationship stuff. Okay, on the 9th of October, we've got the first quarter moon. This is when the moon is halfway on its journey to becoming a full moon. There's a sense of energy building, anticipation. And also this moon then, it squares the sun, which is in Libra, in your 2nd house. So yes, you're able to work at your relationships, and you have been, but now we've got an additional kind of personal, social aspect coming into this, and you will come across as someone who's very grounded and very real. So the energy you're actually exuding, which you have been kind of engaging with this truthfully and honestly for the month of October, you've got very real with yourself, and you're going to give off this aura, this energy of, I'm someone who looks at my life clearly, maybe a little bit too harshly, but I'm real with myself. And notice on the 9th what happens. The people who can tolerate that will continue to be in your life, but the people who are full of BS, the people who cannot face the truth, they will suddenly go, they will be gone. So really notice who bails on you on the 9th of October, because those are people who cannot get real with themselves. And those people are dangerous, because if they can't get real with themselves, they can't get real with you, and they will think it's okay to pull the wool over your eyes. Because they do that to themselves, it's okay to do that to other people. On the 10th, 11th, and 12th, the moon is in Aquarius, that's in your 6th house, and on a day-to-day basis, I think you're going to feel very charitable over these 3-day period. I think you'll have a focus on people who are less fortunate than you, and you will want to help those people. There's also a T-square in place during this time, and it connects your South Node in Pisces and your Neptune in Pisces with your North Node in Virgo in your sign, and Saturn at the bottom in your 4th. So I really feel that you now evaluate the relationships that are in your life. You make a decision around the ones you want to continue with and the ones you don't want to continue with, and the paths become very clear. Susan and I are going ahead. Cindy and myself, we're finished. It's really as simple as that, and I think you really are in a position to listen to your own feelings and your own guidance about what relationships are good and which are not so good. On the 13th and 14th, the moon is in Pisces, and it conjuncts all of the energy in your 7th house. We've got Neptune, we've got the South Node, we've got Chiron, all of them are in Pisces. So this is a very emotional 2 days for you, where you really feel the disappointments of the past quite strongly, and you really face what has happened, and even allow healing to take place. If things have been difficult, it's quite a grounded month for you. You can look at those things and you can come to terms with them. Even if things have been disappointing and challenging, you can say, well, what's the good of carrying this around with me? And you're actually in a position to heal difficult emotional experiences. We're into the 15th of October now, and there's a lot happening here, Virgo. So in between all of this, take a break once in a while to just be kind to yourself and to be good to yourself, because you're going to get a lot of work done here, as you can see. On the 15th, we've got the moon in Aries. That's conjunct Uranus in Aries. This is a great time to work in connection with other people, to do teamwork. And the next day, the 16th of October, is the full moon in Aries. It's the hunter's moon this month, and that also happens in your 8th house. So you will have an idea of where you want to take your team or your company or your business or your employees, what direction you want to take them in. And you may have some ideas which are really very much aligned with the leadership principles that you've got, and you may have very clear ideas that become apparent in terms of how can I move this business forward. On the 17th, the moon is in Taurus, and it opposes your 3rd house. So there's going to be an ease experiencing things and getting in touch with the physical side of things, the body, instead of overthinking things and overcomplicating them. So I think you're going to be much easier, or you're going to have a much easier time going on a little trip, going on a little sightseeing tour, than it is reconnecting with long lost relatives and rehashing every emotional hurt that you've ever experienced. So do yourself a favor, 17th and 18th, these are the 2 days when you can really be good to yourself and really can dodge a bullet by focusing on just the tangible, simple things in life. On the 19th, the moon is in Gemini. That is in your 10th house. Best day of the month so far in terms of your career, in terms of your work. So is the 20th. The 20th is even better because the moon now trines your sun and Mercury in your 2nd. So gold is just falling out of your mouth, okay? Anything you say at work is going to be wonderful, glorious, fabulous. You will have amazing ideas. You will come across really, really well in your career. You will communicate effectively. There's no room for misunderstanding here. You're talking like a boss. You're really coming across really, really well. And your ideas and your words translate into actual pound symbols and dollar signs, okay? So it's working in your favor. So these 2 days are exceptional for you in your working life. On the 21st, Mars begins to square Uranus. Now this is another not a conjunction, this is another square that's going to be long term. So Mars squares Uranus from the 21st of October to the 4th of November. Uranus is in your 8th, Mars is in your 5th. It's really kind of working for the greater good, or at least you think you're working for the greater good. Try and be aware and keep a check on yourself that you don't, veer off into megalomania and you think you have all the answers which are going to save the company or the department or everyone you work with, and that you're the chosen one, the Messiah who can save all these people, okay? It's okay to be a leader and to make things better for the greater good, but if you think that you're the only person who knows what's happening and who's right and who can save things, then you've got a Jesus complex, and then that's a little bit too much. So just kind of, during this 2-week period, really check in with yourself that you're not going a little bit overboard with all of these things. On the 22nd, Venus begins to conjunct Saturn. That happens in your 4th house. This conjunction also lasts until the 4th of November. This is a wonderful time now to focus on family instead of work so much, okay? So cool it a little bit on the leadership, I'm the boss, and focus on your family relationships, the ones that you've chosen to continue with. Really keep putting energy into that. That'll really please you, and it's a much better option than this work stuff. It's the last quarter moon as well on this day, so the moon is again halfway on its journey, this time to becoming a new moon, so the energy is dissipating and becoming less frantic. It's winding down now, so there's an immediate sense of ease. Plus, the sun moves into Scorpio, so happy birthday, Scorpio. 23rd of October, the moon begins to trine Saturn and Venus. This is a wonderful day to experience fun things, good times, pleasant, to build positive memories, experiences with family members, and to have a good time. Same on the 24th, lots of fire in the chart, so really the ability now for the first time in the month really to just let your hair down and to have a little bit of fun and to just enjoy yourself. The 25th and the 26th of October sees the moon in Virgo conjunct your north node in Virgo, and this is the these 2 days are the best in terms of how you feel internally. It's like, oh, you know, I can relax, I'm on the right track, I know what I'm doing, everything is going to plan, I feel at peace with what I'm doing, and this is really when your head is quiet and you have some peace in your life and you really feel aligned with your inner self. On the 27th, the moon, again in Virgo, but it trines your rising in Capricorn, so you see yourself as working towards the right thing. And I get the sense that it's a good day to achieve things in the real world, to be a leader, to make inroads into your relationships, to make things more concrete, to put an effort in and see a positive result. The outcome matches your input. Your effort is worth something. Your effort has a result. So this is really good time to be busy, to work, to take a risk, because the odds are stacked in your favor here, and if you put effort and work into something, it's likely that you'll get a good outcome. On the 28th and the 29th, the moon is now in Libra, and it's in your second house, sitting on top of Jupiter, the good luck planet, and this is a throwback to the beginning of the month where you really can focus and improve the relationship you have with your finances and also your financial relationships. So people who you work with, people who make you money, people who provide you with an income. 28th and 29th is an excellent day to communicate in that sense. If someone offers you a deal, a new contract, an idea for work, something like that, around this time of the month, go for it. It's likely to be very, very good. On the 30th, the second new moon of the month happens. So this is really rare. If we have 2 full moons in a month, we call the second one a blue moon, and that's where this expression comes from, once in a blue moon, because it's so rare. When you have 2 new moons in a month, it's similarly uncommon, but it's not called a blue moon, it's called a black moon. And these are said to have really powerful occult power. So the witches are going to be busy here on the 30th, casting spells and stuff, because the thing about casting spells and the new moon, without getting, I'm not an expert, but the new moon is a time when the moon is really hiding herself from the world, and it's dark, okay? And she's pulling energy in, and it's all here in my little cauldron. So if I've got a double new moon, if I've got a black moon, it's that inward power that's huge. And since these spells are inner things that are becoming manifest, that's why these black moons are great. So if you're into Wicca, don't forget the black moon. You can really do some stuff here. And also, if you're just a regular individual, a new moon in Scorpio is always going to be intense, and it's always going to be, there are revelations which follow a Scorpio new moon, because it's about getting to the truth of the matter. Now, you Virgo, you might have had your fill. October has been really, really real for you. You might want a little bit of delusion rather than even more realness. But if you really want to continue on this journey of getting to the truth of the situation, again, spending 5 to 10 minutes to plant those seeds of intention. What is it that I'm going to really look at and focus on? What do I need to get real about? My own attitudes, my attitudes towards other people, my finances, my relationships with family. What do I need to look at so I can improve? And you will get great answers from that in the month of November now, because obviously this new moon is for the 30 days following, and that's November. 31st of October, we've got Halloween. We've got the moon conjuncting with Black Moon Lilith, both in Scorpio. So again, this is about letting the cat out of the bag. It's about seeing beyond the veil into the unmanifest. And again, Halloween, the veil is thin anyway. If you look at the genuine historical meaning of Halloween, it's a time when, you know, darkness comes in and the worlds are kind of more balanced and closer to each other. Yes, connecting with spirit, connecting with the unmanifest is easier, because Black Moon, Lilith, and the moon, it really tunes you into those vibrations, and you can almost look over into the other side. Wonderful. So that's what I get for you in October. I hope that gives you something to go on. If you'd like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order your reading with me there. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next month.